There is something many dog owners notice long before they understand it. Your dog may enjoy meeting people. They might happily greet visitors, accept treats from friends, or lean into attention from someone new. Dogs can be social, affectionate, and friendly. But even the friendliest dog often has one person who feels different. One person whose arrival changes their energy. One person they quietly track across a room. One person who somehow makes everything feel okay. Most people call this love. Some call it loyalty. But what if it goes deeper than that? Dogs build emotional patterns over time. They learn who brings comfort, who creates stability, who helps them feel secure when life feels uncertain. And once that trust becomes deeply rooted, it starts showing up in small behaviors people often miss. Not dramatic moments, tiny moments, moments that quietly reveal connection. The first sign: your dog checks where you are before they fully relax. Watch closely the next time your dog is resting while people are around. Maybe they walk through the room. Maybe they accept affection from someone nearby. Maybe they settle onto the floor after exploring. But before completely relaxing, many dogs do something subtle. They look for their person. Sometimes it is only a quick glance. Sometimes they briefly lift their head. Sometimes they scan the room and immediately settle once they find you. It can seem insignificant. It is not. Animal behavior experts often describe this kind of action as social referencing. Dogs naturally pay attention to trusted individuals when processing their environment. Your presence becomes information. If you appear calm, they often feel calmer. If you remain relaxed, unfamiliar situations can feel less overwhelming. It is not about asking permission. It is about reassurance. Your dog is quietly confirming. Everything feels normal. That explains why dogs may happily interact with others while still checking back toward one specific person. The person who represents consistency. The person connected to safety. The person whose presence helps their nervous system settle. And over time, this habit becomes automatic. Your dog may not even realize they are doing it, but they do, again and again, because trust changes behavior. And that brings us to something even more powerful. Because some dogs do not simply look for their favorite person. Some dogs react with their entire body the second that person walks through the door. And once you notice it, you may never see your dog's greeting the same way again. Why does your dog act completely different when you come home compared to everyone else? The next sign reveals something most owners mistake for excitement, when it may actually mean much more. Most dog owners think they already understand why dogs get excited when someone comes home. You open the door. Tail wagging starts. Paws move faster. Energy rises. It feels simple. My dog is happy to see me. And sometimes that is true. But when a dog has formed a deep attachment to one person, their reaction can become something bigger than ordinary excitement. Watch carefully. There's often a noticeable difference between how your dog greets visitors and how they greet the person they trust most. A familiar friend arrives. Your dog may walk over. Maybe the tail moves. Maybe they accept attention. Maybe they seem pleased. But when their chosen person comes home, everything changes. The body loosens. The movement becomes bigger. The tail does not just wag. It pulls the entire body with it. Some dogs spin in circles. Some bounce from foot to foot. Some make small sounds they rarely make otherwise. Others do something owners know instantly. The full body wiggle, that moment where excitement seems to travel from nose to tail until the entire dog looks like pure movement. It feels joyful because it is. But there may also be something deeper happening. Dogs are creatures of patterns. Daily life creates emotional rhythms. Who feeds them? Who walks them? Who comforts them? Who stays consistent? Over time, certain people become central to how dogs experience their world. Not because dogs think like humans, but because repeated safety creates strong emotional connections. When that trusted person leaves, even for normal reasons, the dog adapts. They nap, play, explore, wait. Life continues. But something important is temporarily missing. A familiar presence, a predictable part of their environment, someone connected to routine, someone connected to comfort. Then the door opens, and suddenly that missing piece returns. For some dogs, the greeting is not simply excitement. It is relief. The environment feels complete again. That explains why certain dogs seem unable to contain themselves, why they race toward one person but casually acknowledge another, why one arrival creates calm while another creates only interest. Dogs communicate constantly without words. Their bodies often reveal emotions long before humans recognize them. Loose muscles, soft eyes, relaxed posture, happy movement. These signals can tell a story, and when dogs trust someone deeply, that story becomes easier to see. But greetings are only one piece of the puzzle. Because there is another behavior dogs often reserve for the people they trust most. And it happens during their quietest moments. Not while playing, not while running, not while asking for food. When they become vulnerable, when they completely let their guard down, that is where trust becomes impossible to fake. Why do some dogs sleep deeply beside one person, but stay alert around everyone else? The next sign may reveal one of the strongest forms of trust a dog can give. People often notice the loud moments first, the excited greeting, the wagging tail, the happy energy when a favorite person walks through the door. Those moments are easy to recognize. But some of the strongest signs of attachment are much quieter. In fact, they can be so ordinary that owners miss them completely. Because trust in dogs does not always appear as excitement. Sometimes it appears as vulnerability. Think about the moments when your dog is doing absolutely nothing. No playing, no asking for food, no waiting for a walk, just resting. Where do they choose to be? Many dogs enjoy soft beds, comfortable corners, sunny spots near windows. But dogs who feel deeply connected to someone often make a different choice. They choose proximity. They settle near the person who makes them feel safest. Maybe your dog lies beside your chair while you work. Maybe they stretch out near your feet while you watch television. Maybe they quietly move closer without asking for attention. Sometimes they simply want to exist near you. No reward, no game, no purpose, just closeness. And that matters. Because in the animal world, relaxation requires trust. A dog that feels uncertain stays alert. Their body remains ready. Their awareness stays active. But a dog that feels secure allows themselves to soften. You can often see it happen. The slow exhale, the relaxed muscles, the heavy sigh before sleep, the body slowly settling into complete comfort. Those moments may seem small. They are not. Dogs are naturally aware of their surroundings. Even during rest, many remain observant. But when dogs deeply trust someone, something changes. They become willing to lower that guard. Some dogs roll onto their side. Some expose their belly while sleeping. Others turn their back completely. It might not seem important, but trust often looks ordinary when it becomes part of daily life. Think about it. Your dog cannot explain safety with words. They communicate through choices, who they follow, who they stay near, who they relax around, who they trust enough to become completely comfortable. One of the clearest examples happens during deep sleep. A dog sleeping lightly may still react quickly. Small sounds, movement nearby, changes in the environment. But dogs resting deeply beside someone they trust often show something powerful. Their body says, "I don't feel like I need to stay prepared right now." That level of comfort does not happen instantly. It develops slowly, day after day, walk after walk, quiet routine after quiet routine. Trust grows through repetition, predictability, gentle experiences, consistent care. Over time, dogs begin building emotional confidence around certain people, not because those people are perfect, because they are reliable. And once reliability becomes trust, dogs begin revealing parts of themselves they do not show easily. The calm version, the unguarded version, the completely comfortable version. But there's another sign that surprises many owners, because some dogs become so tuned into their favorite person that they seem to predict what happens before it happens. You shift slightly, they lift their head, you stand up. They already know. You reach toward the door, and somehow they were ready before you moved. How does your dog know you're leaving before you even touch the door? The next sign explains why some dogs learn their favorite person's habits better than anyone realizes. Have you ever noticed your dog reacting before anything actually happens? You lean forward slightly. Their ears lift. You stand from the couch. They immediately pay attention. You walk toward a certain room. They are already moving. Some dog owners joke that their pet can read minds. Others call it instinct, but the truth is something far more interesting. Dogs become experts at studying patterns, especially the patterns of people who matter most to them. Your dog spends more time watching you than you probably realize. Not in a strange way, in a survival way. Dogs naturally learn through observation. Every small routine creates information. Over time, tiny details become signals. The sound of keys, a certain pair of shoes, the way you move before picking up the leash, the pace of your footsteps before bedtime, the small habits you repeat without thinking. Humans often overlook these details because we live inside our routines. Dogs notice them because routine helps them understand what happens next. And when a dog forms a strong bond with someone, they often study that person more closely than anyone else. Your movements start carrying meaning. A shift in posture can predict a walk. Walking toward the kitchen might suggest feeding time. Reaching for a bag could signal leaving the house. Dogs build connections between actions and outcomes constantly. It is one reason they can seem almost psychic, but they are not predicting the future. They are reading patterns. And dogs who feel strongly connected to someone often become incredibly skilled at it. That is why one person getting up from the couch might not matter. But when you stand up, your dog notices immediately, because your actions influence their world. Your schedule becomes part of their schedule. Your habits become familiar landmarks inside their day over weeks, months, years. Dogs build what almost feels like a personal dictionary, one created entirely around your behavior, the sound of your footsteps, your walking speed, the way you grab your jacket, even tiny movements most humans never notice. Dogs notice. Not because they are obsessed, because understanding trusted people creates security. Predictability helps animals feel safer. When dogs understand patterns, uncertainty becomes easier to manage, and the people dogs trust most often become their clearest source of information. That connection explains something many owners experience. You barely move. Your dog already knows. You prepare for bed. They head toward their sleeping spot. You reach toward the leash. They appear instantly. You quietly prepare to leave, and somehow they knew before you even reached the door. It feels impressive because it is. Your dog has spent countless ordinary moments learning you, watching, remembering, connecting, building familiarity one day at a time. But perhaps the strongest sign of all appears when dogs face uncertainty. Because when something unfamiliar happens, many dogs reveal exactly who they trust most. Not during easy moments, not during routine, during uncertainty, during hesitation, during moments when they need reassurance. And what they do next says everything. When dogs feel unsure or uncomfortable, one small behavior often reveals who they trust most. And once you notice it, you may never look at your bond the same way again. There is one moment that reveals attachment more clearly than almost anything else. Not excitement, not playtime, not treats, not even affection. It happens during uncertainty. Think about the times your dog notices something unfamiliar, a strange sound outside, a visitor arriving unexpectedly, an object that was not there yesterday, a loud noise, an unfamiliar place. Most dogs react quickly. That part is normal. Dogs naturally pay attention to changes around them. Their instincts are built to notice what feels different, but watch carefully what happens next. Many dogs do something subtle, something easy to miss. They look toward the person they trust most, not because they need someone to fight the problem, not because they cannot think for themselves, because trust creates guidance. Imagine your dog hears an unusual sound. They notice it immediately. Their body becomes alert. Their attention shifts. Then often, especially in deeply bonded relationships, they glance toward one person. The person whose reactions help explain the situation. If you remain calm, they often settle faster. If your body stays relaxed, they gather information from that. If you move confidently, they often become more confident too. Dogs learn emotional patterns over time. They remember experiences, they connect outcomes, and slowly, through thousands of ordinary moments, trust becomes belief. Every calm walk through something unfamiliar, every reassuring experience, every moment where uncertainty appeared and safety followed, those experiences build something powerful. Confidence, not confidence in the world, confidence in you. That confidence does not happen because someone gives the most treats or buys the best toys or uses the happiest voice. Those things can strengthen connection, but deep trust grows differently. It grows through consistency, predictability, patience, showing up repeatedly, being safe repeatedly, being understandable repeatedly. Dogs notice patterns more than perfection. They learn who feels reliable, who feels steady, who helps difficult moments become easier. And eventually, many dogs quietly make a decision. They choose someone, not always the person people expect, not always the person who spends the most money, but often the person whose presence creates calm. And once that bond forms, it appears everywhere. In the glance across a crowded room, in the excited welcome when you return home, in the quiet nap beside your feet, in the way they notice your smallest habits, in the way they search for your reaction when life feels uncertain. Those moments may seem ordinary, but together they tell a story. A story your dog has been communicating every single day, not through words, through behavior, through trust, through presence. So the next time your dog settles beside you, or quietly follows you into another room, or checks where you are before relaxing, pause long enough to notice. Because sometimes the biggest signs of love are the quiet ones. And if your dog has chosen you as their safe place, that is something truly special. Because to them, you are not simply part of their life. You are part of what makes the world feel okay. Dogs communicate far more than most people realize, and some behaviors owners misunderstand completely. In the next video, we're looking at surprising things dogs do when they secretly feel stressed, uncomfortable, or overwhelmed, and what they wish humans understood sooner.